Hey guys, this is Namek here, and today we are going to be doing the second part of What If Goku Had the Monkey God's Powers. Please like the video if you haven't already and subscribe. It's totally free and you can unsubscribe whenever you want. There's nothing much else I'd like to say in the intro, so without further ado, let's get into the video.
Slick talker since a jet. Winter time, all the time, ooh, yeah. Look at the way that I move, swag, disrespectful and I'm rude, okay. I had cocaine in the school.
Here they need to find a way to bring back Piccolo so that they can bring back their friends. The situation isn't the best, but Goku and Tien try their best to work their way around this situation. Gohan is a strong asset that they could have on Namek, but Chi-Chi is reluctant to let him go off-world. Of course, Gohan could be very helpful in finding the Dragon Balls, but Goku is already extremely powerful. They don't think they'll need him. Of course, Tien won't be providing much to the team since he's way weaker than even Gohan, but since his friend Chaozu died, he wants to be directly involved in reviving him. Mr. Popo eventually informs them of the ship that Kami arrived on Earth in. Once they find that ship, all it needs is a few tweaks and augmentations from Bulma and they're ready to go. The faces of the malevolent Saiyans that they met before haunt Tien's mind, along with the dead body of Chaozu. Goku was also haunted by the death of his best friend, Krillin. He was pretty much his first companion when looking past parental figures like Grandpa Gohan and things. The two fighters with Bulma navigating are well on their way towards Namek. The thing is, Handyman was able to travel to the sun and almost eat it like it was food, therefore I'm sure that Goku won't be affected by a lack of air. He isn't actually able to test this out, but there isn't really a need to anyway. One sign he is given though is that there is a thinning of the air in the ship as they ascend into space for a brief period. Bulma complains about it and Tien can feel it, but his body is fortified and isn't as affected by this. Goku feels nothing at all and has kind of gotten used to just not feeling the same sensations that others describe. It isn't really something that he is bothered by, but it's certainly confusing. The two Earthlings and Goku arrive on the lush blue grass of Namek opening to its air. They are then found by some soldiers of Frieza, but none of them are bothered by these people in the slightest. They mainly go for Goku and try to attack him since he suppresses his battle power to about 5, but this is useless. Tien manages to shout and launch a ki blast at one of the soldiers, killing them right away. As for the others, they are swiftly dismantled by Goku. Even increasing his power level slightly is all he needs to contend with these warriors. Their ship is destroyed in the process though, which kind of means that they're stranded here. They aren't very happy about that, but that's a situation that they must worry about in the future. For now, they have to try and find the Dragon Ball so that they can complete their mission. Eventually, Tien and Goku watch over the Frieza army in operation for pretty much the first time. Of course, this is excluding the Saiyans that work under the Tyrant, Raditz, Nappa and Vegeta. Zarbon and Dodoria mercilessly and easily slaughter the strongest Namekian fighters that have banded together to face them. Their attacks are powerful and brutal and they are met with very little, practically negligible resistance. This time, Goku cannot stand to watch this and stay put. He's quite frankly stronger now, with a power level of 1 million. He has never been hurt in his life and as a result fears nobody. Even the power of Frieza that he can feel, which is large, doesn't frighten him. Tien urges for him to stay back, but then again he feels like Goku might even be stronger than that Emperor there. He's never even seen Goku's armor-like skin grazed before. The strongest foes like Vegeta, even in his Goliath Uzaru form, could do nothing to hurt him. The Saiyan charges down there and Tien just stays back in fear. He tries his best to keep his power level hidden for now and only wants to step in if he's absolutely needed. Goku, before Dodoria can kill Dende, lands a single punch onto his person and kills him right away. With his growing anger at the innocent deaths of these Namekians, he won't be doing any sort of suppressing of his power. With a straight shot from a man of a 2 million power level, Dodoria is totally gone. Goku turns to Zarbon and Frieza with glares of fury but also valiance. Zarbon looks slightly startled upon seeing his piercing focus glare because he managed to dismantle Dodoria so easily. He knows that in this state of his he could not do the same thing, so basic logic tells him that he is in big trouble here. As a result, he tries to transform to prove to be a challenge to Goku in his eyes, but the Saiyan doesn't give him such a liberty. With a strike straight to the stomach, it's over for Zarbon. Before he can even complete his transformation, Goku's fist rams through his body and the fighter is no more. As the scouters of the soldiers in the area were previously destroyed by the Namekians, Frieza does not know how strong Goku is. Of course, for a Saiyan to surpass his power seems impossible without the use of Uzaru, and so he still thinks that he would have the edge. Frieza stares down the Emperor angrily and can feel his evil nature from the pressure that he exudes. However, he deems himself stronger and doesn't back down in fear in his presence. This annoys Frieza, however. Nobody has had the power to stand before him instead of resorting to bowing. Of course, this is excluding his father King Cold. It's clear that this Saiyan wants a fight and Frieza is going to give him what he wants to make him submit to his position as Emperor. Zooming out his party strikes Goku, but he blocks and feels no pain from his strike. A few more attacks come his way, but yet again they prove to be relatively futile. As Frieza comes charging in, angered by his lack of success against this warrior, Goku picks his shot and lands a powerful punch to his face, followed up by a ki blast. Being 4 times stronger than him by this point, these attacks leave Frieza in a bad state. He ends up coughing from the attacks, then sees droplets of blood in his palm. His eyes widen from this event and his brain almost struggles to comprehend it. He shouts at the top of his lungs, powering up and transforming into his next form, his second form. During this time, the Namekians like Guru and Nail are in distress. They are already restless due to the merciless killing of their own people, but now Frieza seems to be growing even stronger than he was before. Their only hope is the other person in the same location that they can assume is fighting Frieza. From the nature of this individual's signature, they can tell that he is not Namekian or of Frieza's empire, but somebody else entirely. Back to the fight, Frieza sprints toward Goku now with heavy thud-like strides. Swinging his large arm, Goku swerves out the way of the attack relatively easily. Following this attempt at hitting him, he kicks the side of Frieza's knee and drops him onto such knee. Now with his head lower, he can land a sequence of punches onto his face more easily. Frieza is sent sliding on his back with a bruised up body and face. Blood is now dripping from his nose and mouth and he struggles to return to his feet. Frieza struggles to wrap his head around what is happening right now. Even the Ginyu Force are nowhere near the level to even make him think of transforming, so how could this Saiyan be overpowering him in his second form? Nevertheless, he knows how much power he still has left stored up. He could easily defeat this fighter if he wants to, and he has now made that choice. He powers up and quite frankly reaches new heights. His dark menacing aura crackles around him wildly as his power signature seems to inexorably grow. With Goku's power level of 2 million, he soon feels the signature growing dangerously large. Frieza's third form is revealed and he looks a lot more confident than he once was. His smile is menacing and exudes pure confidence. The dynamics of the battle soon change as Frieza shoots forward with much greater speed. Landing 2 punches onto Goku's face, he then drives his fist into his gut. His punches hold much more force and move Goku around, but they're still just a feeling to him. None of the attacks are actually painful. Then he tries to attack Frieza again. He manages to punch his face, but Frieza takes the attack and smirks and dishes an identical punch back at Goku. He smiles wildly once he thinks that he has the advantage, only to see Goku not concerned by his attack in the slightest. The fight continues and Frieza receives at most minor injury from Goku's assault, but Goku seems better off than him somehow. He can feel that he is stronger, that he is almost certain of, but Goku doesn't seem to be bothered by this phenomenon at all. Even with his greater power to amplify himself, he is achieving nothing. Goku desires to take Frieza down right here and right now and charges forward with as much power as he can possibly muster. Even without his Super Saiyan form, he wants to use every ounce of power that he has to put a stop to this immoral being. In his advance, a weird weapon flashes into his right hand, a mace, specifically the Garda of Hanumanji. The head of this mace smashes into Frieza's face, then there is an absolutely massive outburst of power. The swing with his mace levels thousands of meters squared of the area to Frieza's side, and his head is crushed by the strike. With this swing, Goku continues to grasp onto the golden mace in his hand, and Frieza is sent flying away. Tien is forced to leap to the side to not get hit by Frieza's flying body that continues to fly into the sky before it finally dips near the clouds. He even has to remain in flight because the area that he was lying on crumbles in a landslide from the damage nearby. Goku is surprised by what's just happened and looks down to see a metal mace-like weapon in his hand. The Garda has intricate engravings made of gold across its exterior and still feels rather light for Goku. He swings it around and likes the way that the weapon moves and flips the handle around in his palm to get a better feel for it. The threat of Frieza is now basically gone before he even had the chance to begin using his final form. This means that Tien and Goku can simply get the Dragon Balls in a much more relaxed manner. They bring Dende along with them, and once they arrive at Guru's place, he provides them with a potential unlocking in the last few hours of his life. This brings Tien's power level up to 15,000, while Goku shoots up further to a much higher 20 million. As this is happening, Vegeta has healed himself from his injuries but had never heard of such Dragon Balls before. He left the planet before the Earthlings were even beginning to talk about Dragon Balls. On planet Frieza 79, there is chaos and simultaneous rejoice upon the news of Frieza's death. Many of the natives of this planet tried to rebel against the soldiers still on the planet, and many soldiers choose not to fight in the first place. They were directed by Frieza, and with no Emperor as a figurehead and central power of the Empire, there is no need for them to continue following the orders of a dead man. Vegeta doesn't know what has happened immediately, but is swiftly told by some soldiers that end up reporting to him. This makes him free from his tyranny, and with no other Saiyans to act as his comrades, he's almost become alone in this world. That isn't a matter that concerns him, however. What he must do now is grow much stronger so that next time he can obliterate the Saiyan that is called Kakarot. Forcing him to flee has shattered his ego, and now he must take him down in revenge. Goku and Tien retrieve all of the Dragon Balls and wish for Kami to be revived. They don't actually have much association with him, so he's not on King Kai's planet training with him or anything. The other humans are though, and he's decided to hand off his abilities to them because he deems them capable. These are the likes of Krillin and Yamcha. They're both dead and gain access to Kaioken from his teachings. They don't grow much stronger though, because they aren't there for that long at all. Tien still far outclasses their power with his potential unlocking from Guru. Now that the humans have been revived, Goku, Tien and Bulma need to find a way back to Earth. Luckily for them, there is Frieza's ship, and it doesn't take long for Bulma to figure her way around the navigating system. The group are gone shortly after and return to Earth in about a month. Goku returns much stronger than he was before, and peace has been returned for real. He is bummed out that Gohan didn't get to come along with them due to Chi-Chi being heavily reluctant to let him go. Peace is returned though, and the humans start training together upon receiving Kaioken. With the ability to multiply their power in short bursts, they could actually prove to be helpful and fight better against the villains and threats of Earth. In a flash, after about 1 year of time has passed, Tien is at a power level of 25,000 and can use Kaioken times 8. Krillin is at 24,000 and can use Kaioken times 7, while Yamcha can use Kaioken times 7 as well, but with a power level of 22,000. This gives Tien a top power level of 200,000, which is quite decent. It's nowhere near Frieza's level, but being above the Ginyu Force as a human at this point is a great achievement. During this year, nothing much happens except for the arrival of King Cold on planet Earth. He is here to avenge his fallen son and has attempted to rebuild what remained of his empire. With King Cold's power, it's not long before several planets and civilizations belong to him. Goku is training with Gohan, who now has a power level all the way up at 1 million. Training with a much stronger fighter in the form of his father, he can get God Zenkais whenever they spar hard. King Cold makes his arrival, and the humans and Saiyans all head to the site to see him standing there. The humans are very intimidated, but Goku with his divine mace in hand is fearless. He slowly flies down there and lands in front of the fighter while the others remain behind him. From his resemblance to Frieza, he can tell that he means trouble. "Who are you?" he asks, tightening the grip on his Garda. "I am the father of Frieza, the person that was murdered by one of you. Guessing from his autopsy, I believe that it was you that caused his death." Upon hearing this, Goku is a little scared. He left Frieza's corpse to rot on Namek, so what did King Cold do on the planet to retrieve him? "Don't worry, I didn't do much while I was on Namek. I just made sure to reinstill control and bring it under my expanding empire," King Cold shouts powerfully. Goku hears this and just shoots himself right at him. With a power level of 20 million, he doesn't seem to be an immediate problem to King Cold. In the anime, he was even stated to surpass his son, and so he should be relative to him at the weakest. He smirks with arrogance upon seeing how slow Goku is in his vision, but then a massive shockwave is released from the mace. Making Goku's attack several times more powerful, King Cold's armor breaks upon taking the impact, leaving a nasty wound on his chest in the process. He falls back coughing blood and stumbles to a knee. His drop makes the ground rumble from his sides, but Goku just swings his mace down on him. He manages to lift his hands in time, but the round head of the Garda breaks both of his arms in the created shockwave. The ground cracks under the immense downward force and his arms dangle by his side. The Z fighters look grossed out by the state of his arms, but are happy to see that Goku has done a brilliant job in protecting the planet once again. "Leave here and never return. If you don't comply, I'll have to take you down," Goku shouts with fury. King Cold runs off with his tail between his legs and he heads for his ship. In the process though, he receives a slash from an unknown direction that bisects him. He is killed just like that, and the fighters then feel a massive key signature near his body. There in the air is a Super Saiyan that resembles Goku. He sheathes his sword, then descends to stand beside Goku. In reaction, he enters his own Super Saiyan form, and his aura even pushes future Trunks back. "Who are you?" Goku asks, tightly holding his mace with both hands. He believes the only alive Saiyan left besides himself and his son is Vegeta. He is nowhere to be found, so who could this Super Saiyan be? His gut just tells him that he means trouble and he stays on guard. The other Z fighters can sense his ki and know they could do nothing to defeat him, therefore they are also quite skeptical of him. Don't worry, I mean no harm to any of you, not killing him just spells trouble in the future, Future Trunks states before returning to his base form. What does that mean, he asks. Well actually, I think it's better we continue things off later, he should be coming soon, Future Trunks says. Before Goku can reply in confusion, he sees Vegeta flying down in the skies. He lands ahead of the fighters with ripped and tattered clothing, however they can see that his physique is even more impressive than it once was and he seems more resolute from his piercing gaze. Vegeta, I thought I said for you never to return, what do you want here? Goku asks, with hostility. I think it's best if you address me with more respect, Kakarot, Vegeta barks back, stepping forward. Goku tightens his grip on his mace, then Vegeta wiggles his fingers before falling into a slight crouch. I came here to finally put an end to you. I have taken the claim of the legendary Super Saiyan away from you, Kakarot, Vegeta claims. From this claim, the others look incredulously at the prince. Soon after, his transformation begins and his pressure starts pushing out the surrounding rocks and air. Goku lifts one hand to place above his eyes, then he sees Vegeta in his new Super Saiyan state. He smiles proudly before flying right at Goku with a shout. Future Trunks just watches in awe as he sees his father for pretty much the first time ever. He doesn't have any recollection of him in his memorable life. Goku uses his mace to parry the first punch that comes his way. Vegeta remains persistent and throws another punch in quick succession. This punch whips over his dipped head, causing no damage whatsoever. For the next few attacks, Vegeta just continues throwing attack after attack. At first he blamed his misses on rustiness from fighting just out of nowhere, but after tens of punches he can't even say that anymore. Goku is just faster than him. Once he stretches out one of his arms, he receives a smashing strike from his mace that drops him to his knees. He coughs out blood and can feel the pain even in his spine on the other side of his torso. His entire lower torso just feels like it's on fire and he can't understand how that strike felt so painful. Goku made sure to throw it lightly, but his mace doesn't really work like that. It's divine and so is an extremely powerful weapon. Vegeta struggles to even get back up to his feet and Trunks looks kind of bad to see him in this state. It was clear that he's quite arrogant and doesn't take losses very often. As Saiyan royalty, as told to him by future Gohan, he expected him to act something like this. It just surprises him that his mentality managed to change so much in a few years that he ended up fighting against the androids for his family and Earth. Vegeta wants to try and attack Goku again, but to be honest, the attack he received is causing him too much agony. He struggles to summon the energy to fly away, defeated and humiliated once again. After this, Future Trunks reveals himself as the future warrior that he is. He explains that a special being is going to appear in 3 years' time that murders Goku and everyone else. Upon hearing this, Goku is very surprised. Since he has never felt pain and been defeated, he is taken off guard by the fact that he dies in the future. Who is this being? Goku asks further. Well, he's somebody you know already. Before he was turned into an android, he went by the name of Piccolo and we just call him that anyway. He's become super powerful, like extremely powerful, Future Trunks explains, haunted by the sight of him in his mind. It took us a while to figure it out and we still haven't really, but it boils down to Piccolo being able to physically damage you. No matter how strong anything else is, you won't be hurt. As for Piccolo though, that doesn't happen, Future Trunks reveals. This revelation astounds Goku as he never thought his body worked in that manner. Of course, upon deeper reflection it makes more sense. He assumed people like King Cold and Frieza to be similar in strength to himself, but they could do nothing to hurt him. With this, he gets slightly scared. He doesn't want to die or feel pain and so trains as hard as he can in preparation. The others do the same and the humans take advantage of the Kaioken powers that they have access to, making themselves even stronger. Gohan is at the forefront of this training as well, while Vegeta ends up meeting Bulma at this time and they have their son Trunks at a similar time to canon. 3 years pass and the time has come. During this time, Goku has gained access to the 2nd and 3rd grade forms of Super Saiyan along with Super Saiyan 2. Gohan has managed to access Super Saiyan in training but can't utilize it completely at will. It works most of the time though. As for the humans, they can all utilize great levels of Kaioken. Tien has learned to use Kaioken times 25 while Krillin can do the same. Yamcha can use Kaioken times 23, so is slightly behind but is still very powerful in his own right. The team arrive at the area of Sasebo where Goku stands over it with his divine mace. He swings it around in his hand and he has started training with it quite a bit. Actually, as a form of training, he went to human training areas to wield these maces so that he knows the proper techniques. He had to do this since the actual strong fighters in Dragon Ball don't usually wield weapons like maces. The fighters fly into the area and Yamcha ends up finding the androids first. This time Yamcha isn't a total weakling, he has the Kaioken on his side. Android 19 shoots at him and he is flustered to begin with. He begins using Kaioken, but it's futile. He still receives a punch to his face and the basic 2x boost of Kaioken just isn't enough. Sliding back with a large bruise on his face, he can tell that his power just doesn't match this warrior's. In reaction, he powers up and begins using Kaioken times 10. Now 10 times stronger, he flies at the android and tries to punch it. Even with his much greater speed, it can still swerve out the way and land a body punch to stop him in his tracks. The punch is so powerful that Yamcha is dropped to a knee while holding his stomach. The pain he feels from that hit is quite intrusive in his mind, but he steals through it. This isn't anywhere near his full power anyway. Standing, he remains firm and begins using Kaioken times 23. His power climbs wildly and he zooms straight toward the android and throws the most powerful kick that he can. His kick lands square on its chest, but this does little. The following punch from the android nearly knocks him out, then a final knee to his stomach drops him to his knees. The android grabs him by the neck and slowly lifts him while suffocating him. Yamcha isn't willing to just die here and throws punch after punch at the android's face. All he is met by is its menacing smile as it slowly but steadily applies more force onto his neck. Still in Kaioken, he can only cause the android to twitch and jolt around from his punches. Even after all that training, he still isn't strong enough to protect himself, let alone others. Corpses are strewn around him and it's their fault for letting those people die when they should have stepped in time. His vision starts to fade and as what he deems to be one of his last moments, he spits a mixture of blood and spit at the android's face. He wipes the blood from his face and looks unbothered by his showing of disrespect. This is an android after all and has no true emotion. Yamcha's head slumps down, but a weird noise is heard from beside them. A destructo disc comes soaring in and slices the android in half, cutting through some of its vital components. The attack was so sudden that the android couldn't even properly prepare for it, and Krillin is flying in the sky in Kaioken times 25. Tien then comes flying down in Kaioken also and aims to hit Dr. Gero, but he swiftly evades before stepping back. Tien lands before him and the two humans charge at the android with everything they have. Using 25 times multipliers, they surprise the Saiyans that watch them as the battle ensues. As for Dr. Gero though, he is having the time of his life. These attacks of theirs do practically nothing and the humans run out of their Kaioken power. Now fatigued and weakened, the Saiyans descend to help them before any proper damage is caused. Dr. Gero sees them landing and smiles like a crazed maniac would. "Hello there Goku, it's been a while hasn't it? A good few years," Dr. Gero asks, revealing a weird button. "I don't know who you are, I know about the Red Ribbon Army though, and I destroyed that organization a very long time ago," Goku says, aiming his mace at him. "You speak so confidently because of your invincibility. How about we change the dynamics? Let's see how you react to feeling pain for the first time." Following this statement, he slams his massive button down. After this, it's very anticlimactic and nothing actually happens. The humans, tired, look around and see nothing. Gohan and Goku are more vigilant and look around them but sense nothing at all. However, they all feel stood in place upon feeling the key signature that is headed toward them. "Who is that? It feels like Piccolo. I haven't seen him in years," Tien calls out, watching the Namekian flying toward them from the sky. He lands in front of the warriors and looks almost lifeless. He is wearing his purple gi and has glowing red eyes with some metal mechanical finishes across his skin. Here is the perfect weapon, the fighter capable of causing mass destruction. "The Demon King Piccolo," Dr. Gero declares as he stands before the fighter. He remains still and doesn't even show a shed of emotion when looking at the fighters. "Piccolo, you know what you must do. Eliminate these fighters and make sure that Goku is dead once you are done with them," Gero states before flying off. Gohan decides to leap up and chase after the scientist in Super Saiyan. However, he is stopped by this form of Piccolo. He punches him in the chest and sends him flying into the sky before he slowly descends and crashes into the ground several kilometers away. The others look horrified by the sight as he has literally been taken down in a flash. The Super Saiyan prodigy when it comes to power has been knocked out just like that. How has Piccolo managed to become this powerful? Goku flies right toward him and viciously swings his mace at the warrior's face. This attack lands on his cheek and knocks his cheek to the side, but Goku just gets grabbed by the neck. Suddenly, this is when he starts to feel it. Pain. The force around his neck is crushing and he struggles to try and breathe while he is literally panicking. He never expected pain to feel like this and he strugglingly enters Super Saiyan to force the android back with a swing to its face. The attack is powerful and just about gives him a large enough time window to free himself. Goku then swings his mace as hard as he can and manages to get the demon Piccolo to fall back in reaction. The swinging attack releases a massive shockwave, crippling surrounding buildings in the process, but now the others are terrified. If this warrior has enough power to hurt even Goku, what happens if he isn't enough? So that will conclude the second part of what if Goku had the Monkey God's powers. Please tell me something you liked about this video or something that I should improve on for the next one. Sorry for the slightly infrequent uploading. Since I'm back in school now, it's getting much harder for me to actually get these videos out for you guys. I will try to uphold my frequency of getting a video out every 4 to 5 days, but do expect the videos to be slightly shorter. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.